Hello, friends and neighbors. I am Dr. Ken Berry. I'm a family physician, and I am going to be answering your questions today. Many people have questions about health, nutrition, foods. What should I eat? What should I drink? Should I take this prescription medication? Should I take this supplement? I'm going to try to answer all these questions and more for you today. Uh, we got to get more people watching. You know how to make that happen, don't you? Click that thumbs up or the heart and share this video because I'm going to try to answer a lot of questions today. There are people out there who have questions about their health, about their diet. They have no idea. They've been misled. They've been propagandized for decades. They don't know the truth. If you share this video with them, you can send it in an email, WhatsApp, text message. Just click the share button and get it out there. Let's help a bunch of people today. You guys always help me with that, and I really appreciate it. That's how we reach new people who don't yet know the good news of a proper human diet. Yeah, okay, we got a bunch of people joining now. Keep up the sharing, keep up the thumbing. Tell me in the comments where you're watching from, what city, what state, what country, where are you at in the world? I don't know if Granny Berry's watching today or not. I don't think so, but she might be. It won't hurt anything to say hi to Granny Berry. She loves it when you guys do that. There's All for Jesus Carnivore in Oregon. All right, welcome, welcome. I know she shared this video. Deborah from San Diego. There's my neighbor. M. Yarbrough from Memphis. We're going to be covering some fairly controversial stuff today. So probably people want to tune in and stay tuned in. Melbourne, Florida. I've been there before. Hello. Cooper from London. Lewis from Texas. North Dakota Carnivore. A lot of good beef up in North Dakota, I hear. Here's Nahid from Pakistan. Hello, Nahid. Welcome. Sam from the UK. First question of the day from Danielle. Can diet help lung issues? Absolutely. Now, there has not been nearly enough research done on this, but we have enough anecdotal evidence that I can give you a provisional answer on this, Danielle. On my YouTube channel, I have a video about chronic bronchitis, COPD, emphysema, and how there are still stem cells in your lungs, even if you're in your 70s or 80s, probably 90s too. And when you stop, first of all, stop smoking and stop vaping, stop all that, stop inhaling the smoke from any burning plant. Every animal on planet Earth knows to run away and not inhale the smoke if there's leaves burning. So don't inhale the burning leaves of any plant whatsoever. That's number one. Stop the insult from this or this or this. Okay? There might be other ways to utilize CBD or THC, but don't smoke burning leaves. Don't inhale burning smoke leaves. That's not good. Now, diet. So we have had literally thousands of people reach out to us who've adopted a meat-heavy, real whole food keto diet and ketovore diet and carnivore diet and say, man, I've suffered for years from emphysema, but after eating this way for a few months, my emphysema symptoms are so much less severe. It's like my lungs have improved. And indeed, when I went to see my doctor, they did a pulmonary function test where I blow in the tube, and my pulmonary function is now better, even though I'm older, than it was when I was younger. Yes, we hear this all the time. The same goes for chronic bronchitis. The same goes for COPD. The same goes for both acute intermittent asthma and chronic asthma. We've had people with all those conditions, many, many hundreds of people, not just one or two, say, oh my God, I don't even remember where I put my inhaler because I don't ever need it anymore. Okay. So It's probably a combination of three things. First of all, you're not smoking or being around anybody who smokes. You're not around any smoking, burning plants. You are feeding your lungs exactly what it needs, the nutrient-dense food of a proper human diet. And you remove the inflammatory foods, because foods that you eat, junk food, pseudo food, frankenfood, that will inflame your entire body, including your lungs. Think about it. Think it through. Your lungs are right here. They're inside your body. They get a blood supply just like every other organ. If you're eating inflammatory foods, that's going to cause inflammation in your lungs as well. Now, the average lung doctor, the pulmonologist, will say, oh, your food doesn't have anything to do with your lung function. Well, then how do you explain the thousands and thousands of people when they adopt meat-heavy, real, whole food keto or ketovore or carnivore, their lung function improves, and it's documented on a pulmonary function test? How do you reconcile that, doctor? Is that just 10,000 coincidences? Because, at some point, calling it a coincidence, it beggars belief. Like, dude, what are you going to do when there's 100,000? Is that still coincidences? When there's 1 million, what are you going to do with that? Still just random coincidences? I mean, I guess a doctor could say that, but it sounds kind of dumb. All right, let me find another good one. Here's one from Lynn. Can keto or carnivore help interstitial cystitis? My mom has been suffering from this bladder condition for a long time, and no medications or therapies are helping. Absolutely. Again, I constantly keep my finger on the pulse of the keto, ketovore, and carnivore community. We have gotten thousands of people who said, I used to have severe intermittent cystitis. I had to take cranberry juice extract. I had to take this. I had to do that. I had to once a week I was on antibiotics, or once a month I was on antibiotics. And it just kept coming back. But when I adopted a meat-heavy ketogenic diet that's full of real whole foods, not keto bread and keto pie, or ketovore or carnivore, my interstitial cystitis got so much better. Now I hear more feedback from the carnivore community about this. Usually always gets better in the keto community, but goes seemingly completely away if you're eating a carnivore diet. So I highly encourage you, if you know somebody who has interstitial cystitis, or from our previous questioner, emphysema, COPD, asthma, please share this information with them. Hey, there may be a dietary thing that'll make your symptoms so much better that it's like you don't even have the condition anymore. Yeah. Hey, Nisha Berry, how's your garden growing?
Very well.
Nisha's been in the garden all day. Are you guys growing at least some percentage of your food? Because we got sheep in the pasture. She's growing a garden full of herbs and spices. We got chickens in the backyard laying eggs. And I know if you live in the city or you live in an apartment, it's hard to grow a large percentage of your food. But trust me when I say, if you're growing any little percentage of your food, that's a victory. Okay. Even if you're just growing some cilantro and some basil out on the balcony, you're not having to buy that. And that's going to help you financially. And it's all, you could trade it with a neighbor if they've got something you want. Tell me in the comments, what are you growing at home? If you've got a farm, tell me. I hope hopefully cattle and sheep and goats and chickens. But if you're just have a small backyard, maybe you have a little raised bed garden. Maybe you have, if your space is limited, try hydroponic gardening. I saw that from Coach Paulette. Yes, hydroponic is an option. You can do raised beds. I did raised beds for years back when I believed there was magic in plants. I still like the taste of herbs and spices. And so Nisha's growing a bunch of those. Tell me, a chicken, okay, weeds, no. Well, I mean, some weeds you can eat. Everybody knows you can eat dandelions, right? Dandelions. Did I just say that like a redneck?
Dandelions.
Dandelions. Chickens for eggs. Not growing any food. I'm a carnivore. Gotcha. So Elle's going to partner with a local rancher and support the local rancher by buying a quarter cow, half a pig, half a sheep, and get her food from the rancher. Mike's growing meat chickens, egg layers, ducks, and sheep coming. That's what I like to hear. Joanna's growing tomatoes, peppers, basil, cucumber, flowers. Yes, yes, yes. I love it. I love it. Here you go. Here's somebody that all they have is an urban balcony, basil and parsley. There you go. There you go. I mean, herbs at the supermarket are expensive. What is it? 1 ounce is like $5 or $6. It's like, what? Like you could literally grow $100 worth of basil and parsley and cilantro for $2 on your balcony of your high-rise apartment. Yes, 100%. You could grow $100, $200, $300 worth of herbs if you love to eat a lot of herbs. Ooh, Abby's got some Dorper U's. Nice. I love it. I love it. You guys tell me what you're growing in the comments. I want to see. All right. Now here's our McMullen. Been beef, butter, bacon, and eggs. And that's my shirt, by the way. If you like this shirt, there's a link in the show notes. You can get your own. I mean, I would give you the shirt off my back if I knew your address, but I don't. McMullen says, been beef, butter, bacon, and eggs since February, so 2 months. 6 times I've had vegetables in the whole 2 months. 0 weight loss, still have elevated blood sugar and high A1C, at a loss for what to do. So have you rechecked your A1C after you started carnivore? Because sometimes it takes 3 months for it to start to come down. Also, has your doctor checked a fasting insulin? There are people out there who are actually type 1 diabetics, but their doctor thinks they're type 2. This happens very often in adults who develop diabetes in their 30s, 40s, 50s. Most of the time it is type 2, but every now and then it's LADA or MODY. It's adult onset type 1 diabetes, and the doctors miss it. The way they can catch it is by checking a fasting insulin, and it'll be either 0 or effectively 0. So make them check a fasting insulin. And also, have you had a full thyroid panel? Have you had your sex hormones checked? Because all these things can slow down weight loss. But the fact that your A1C is still, I'm assuming, quite high, you didn't tell me a number, it makes me worried that you're maybe a type 1 diabetic and your doctor just made a mistake. Oh, Joanna's got a beef, butter, bacon, and egg shirt. And look, in the thumbnail, she's wearing her Berry University shirt. I love that one too. I almost wore that one today. That's also available. If you just go to drberry.com/shop, you can find all the different shirts. We also have OB Farm shirts. If you have heard about our farm YouTube channel, they're super cute. Nisha loves them. Here is repent and believe. How many calories as a woman over 40 should I consume in order to lose weight? It's a very common question. It's a very honest question. Repent and believe. What I'm about to tell you may be unbelievable to you, but you need to listen carefully because you have been misled your entire life. For 40 years, you've been misled. You think that if you cut calories and keep them low enough for long enough, that's the secret to weight loss. That's never worked for you ever, and it's not going to work now. What you need to cut is the carbohydrates, the sugar, the grains, wheat, rice, oats, and corn, the beans, the starchy vegetables. All those things convert immediately to sugar as you're chewing them up and swallowing them. And they spike your blood sugar, which raises your insulin, and that turns off your ability to burn fat. Because you don't want to lose muscle and bone, you want to lose fat. You cannot do that with a high insulin level. And if you're eating too many total carbohydrates, you will never be able to lose the fat that you want to lose. Okay? I've got lots of videos. If you like vegetables, watch my keto videos. If you're like, no, I could just eat meat and eggs and be happy, then watch my carnivore videos. But both keto and carnivore, one of the major ways they help you lose fat is by they're either very low in carbohydrate or almost zero carbohydrate. But yet you get all the nutrition you need because they're very nutrient dense diets. Stop worrying about the calories, guys. The calories are propaganda. Okay, I'm sorry if that offends anybody, but calories are not anything that are ever going to help you lose weight and keep it off for the rest of your life. Coffee Zone Live says, don't forget to hit the like button, folks. Hit the heart, hit the like. Okay, here's Grammy. My diagnosed with Alport syndrome. Doctor says not to eat so much meat. Is this true? No. Anytime any of you guys are diagnosed with a condition and your doc says, oh, you need to avoid red meat, your very next words need to be based on what? What research proves that? Print me off a copy, please. Otherwise, shut up. Many doctors believe wrong-headedly that red meat is bad for Alport or bad for your kidneys, bad for your liver. None of this is true. Okay? Meat is an ancestral food for human beings. Meat does not harm you. Even the cheap meat that you buy from the discount grocery is 100 times healthier for you to eat than a loaf of bread or a box of cereal. Eat the meat. This is from The News is Fake. Wow, it's very often true. Is zero sugar vitamin water with stevia okay for electrolytes? I don't think that vitamin water has nearly as much electrolytes as something like Element electrolytes. We use the unflavored version, or salty electrolytes, or Redmond's Relight electrolytes. I think the vitamin water is half-ass. Lynn Tucker, Carnivore. Hey, Lynn, is it normal to get cold after eating or just circulation changing to digestion? The guys in the boiler room must take a lot of my energy. So when you do eat a big meal that's very nutrient dense, your body does shift a good percentage of your blood flow to your gastrointestinal system to help absorb that. Now, that shouldn't make you cold, Lynn. It makes me wonder if you are deficient in iodine. Maybe you need to start supplementing a little iodine. That might help that. Here's a question from Amy. Hey, Amy, would you recommend someone experiencing dystonia symptoms in their limbs to continue carnivore, or would it be better to do the lion diet? Carnivore, as long as it's good, clean carnivore, I think is probably just as good for dystonia as a lion diet would be. And for those of you who don't know, a lion diet is just ruminant meat like sheep, cow, goat, salt, and water only, with lots of fat. And there are some conditions that you need to at least do a lion diet for 90 days, but I don't think dystonia is probably one of them. All right, you guys having some good questions today. Now, did you guys just see the news report that the new statistics for autism came out? 1 out of every 20 boys in the United States is diagnosed with autism. Can you believe that? When I was little in kindergarten and first grade, the rate was like 1 in 20,000, 1 in 15,000. And now the new data just coming out, 1 out of every 20 boys has autism, is diagnosed with autism. Now, part of that is that we're better at diagnosing it now. There's less stigma. That's totally true. But to go from 1 in 20,000 to 1 in 20, that's not diagnostic improvement, and that's not stigma. What do you think is this? How can you not say this is an epidemic? What do you think's causing this? Is it the food? Is it the glyphosate? Is it the microplastics? Is it electromagnetic radiation? I want you to tell me in the comments, what do you think it is? Because I want to see what the majority of you guys think is causing this autism epidemic. This is so sad, so ridiculous. This should not be happening in a country that spends more money on healthcare per person than any other country in the world. And we've got this epidemic of autism, and we have no idea what's causing it. We don't know. We know what it definitely is not, and don't say it. You can say it in the comments, because I think that plays at least a part. 100% do. I don't know if it's all of it, but I think it absolutely plays a part. Yeah, Target Prime Rib says, I think it could be all of it. And I think probably when we have the truth, which will probably be 20 to 50 years from now, it's going to turn out that it was partially the ultra processed, high sugar, high chemical junk food, maybe electromagnetic radiation, maybe a little bit, microplastics, nanoplastics, maybe a little bit, the injections that little ones get multiple times when they're very tiny. I think there's probably a genetic defect that maybe 5-10% of kids have that we haven't discovered yet, that if you get those little injections that you get at 3, 6, 9, 12 months, that's it. And I think if we'd done enough research on this, we would have found that little 5%, 5 or 10% of kids who have that genetic defect, and we would do something different for them besides just give them the standard little injections that everybody gets at 3, 6, 9, 12 months. Hopefully that research is coming. Hopefully it's being designed right now and getting started. It's so sad though, isn't it? So sad. Yeah, you guys got some good opinions on this. I like how you're thinking. Lisa says, Meniere's disease and carnivore. Why am I still getting vertigo? It got worse when I got a cochlear implant. Now, sometimes cochlear implants will help Meniere's, but rarely they can actually make it worse. Are we 100% certain of your diagnosis of Meniere's, Lisa? Have you had an MRI of the brain? Have you had an MRI of the inner ear, both sides? Have you had a BAER test done? Have you had all of that done? I'm guessing since you got a cochlear implant, you've had at least some of that done. But there are other medical conditions that can mimic all the symptoms of Meniere's. And I don't want you to be misdiagnosed. Donald says, first, thank you, Dr. Berry, for saving my life. Carnivore for 1 year, everything better except my left neglect from stroke. Will that get better? Donald, the human body is almost miraculous. It is so complex that we don't understand it all yet. I can promise you that. Nerves, your brain tissue and nerves are the slowest healing part about you, Donald. And so if you still have left-sided deficits and left-sided neglect, keep working at the physical therapy. I know you got physical therapy after the stroke. At least I hope you did. Surely, to God, you did. Your doctor ordered that. But you can keep doing that at home. What doctors say is usually that at somewhere between 1 year and 2 years after the stroke, you've regained all of the improvement that you're going to get. And whatever you're left with at 1 year to 2 years, you're stuck with that. I think that that's almost true. I think that you can still get more function back in the second year, the third year, the fourth year, even the fifth year, but it's going to be a much smaller amount. It's going to be much slower. But if you don't give up on the physical therapy, the occupational therapy, keep doing it at home. Keep stroking that arm from proximal to distal. Keep trying your best to use it. Keep trying to do things that you can't currently do with the arm and with the foot. I think that you can regrow some surprising neurological connections up to 5 years. And so I would not give up. Amy says, what do you think about taking krill oil for joint pain? Some people, it helps. The problem with buying krill oil in a container is that it's usually at least some degree rancid and some degree oxidized. What I would do instead is I would eat omega-3 rich foods like sardines and cod liver You can buy both of those from Amazon or any big supermarket and actually eat foods that are rich in omega-3 instead of taking an extract from the krill. That's what I would do if I were you. Adamski says baby formula is a scam too. What do you guys think about this? Is Adamski right or wrong? I think that if baby formula were marketed and advertised honestly, I don't have a problem with it. I think if Infamil and the rest of them came out and said, "Look, this is not nearly as good as breast milk. Okay, it's not even close, but it's better than your baby starving to death." Yeah, I can get behind that. I would agree with that. I'd be like, "Yep, you're right. It's better than starving to death, and it's not even 10% as good as breast milk." Breast milk is not just liquid, guys. Breast milk is a living liquid tissue. Breast milk changes from minute to minute. It literally, the baby's changes in their saliva communicates with the breast, and the breast milk will change based on if the baby's a little sick or the baby's a little tired, time of day. Literally from morning to night, the breast milk changes. There's no baby formula that can do that. Come on. Be honest in your advertising. Don't act like, oh, this is just as good. Come on. Carrie says, I've heard you speak a lot about beef steak, beef liver. What do you think about beef tongue and also pork other than bacon? So the reason I don't talk about other pork much is because bacon is 1-to-1 fat to protein, right? It's got strips of fat, it's got strips of lean, strips of fat. So you're getting about 1-to-1 fat to protein, which is for many people, a very sweet spot in the macronutrients. I think that pork belly and hog jowl are also perfectly fine because of that same reason. If you can find pork chops that haven't had all the fat trimmed off, I think any cut of pork is fine, but pork is higher in omega-6 fatty acids. That's true. For most people, I don't think it's high enough to really matter. But you don't want them to trim the fat off because butchers and meat department managers are scared to death that people don't want all that fat on their pork. But you're smart enough to know you do want that fat. So you're going to tell them to stop trimming the fat because the average pork chop at the supermarket is too lean. It's not enough fat. Same with a pork roast, same with sliced ham. Very often they try to get as much fat out as they can, and they should stop trying to do that. Now, beef tongue is delicious. It's very hard to prepare, but once it's cooked, it's delicious. Now, tongue is made of muscle. It's not an organ like liver or heart or spleen or kidney. So it's not really, a lot of people call it organ meat, but it's really just a muscle. And you know that your tongue's a muscle because you can move it around. Elizabeth says, what about bullous pemphigoid? We've had several people reach out and say, hey, my bullous pemphigoid is way less severe since I've been on a carnivore diet. Yep. Almost every skin condition you can think of, including eczema and psoriasis, either meat heavy keto or ketovore or carnivore, it's going to improve. It's going to improve because by definition, you're removing all of the inflammatory grains, all of the inflammatory insulin spiking sugar, and you're eating nutrient dense food that nourishes your skin. So if you have any skin condition, do 90 days of beef, butter, bacon, and eggs. Just do it for 90 days. I'm not recommending some weird fad. These are 4 things that we have been eating as a species for thousands of years. In some cases, 50,000 years or longer. So it's not like I'm recommending some new weird fad that's made in a factory, made out of radioactive chemical waste. This is real human food. And so there's no danger from you eating real human food. That don't even make sense, does it? Oh, you shouldn't eat real human food. That could cause your cholesterol to go up. Okay. All right. Let's see if I can find another good one. Here's one from Jennifer. Join others who celebrate the proper human diet at the Indiana Keto Meetup with special guests, 2 crazy ketos. I love 2 crazy ketos. They're so cool. May 24th. Details on lowcarbevents.com. I think it's .com. Lowcarbevents, all one word.com. If you're in the Indiana area, I promise you want to go. You want to meet the 2 crazy ketos. They are wonderful, wonderful people. Vicky, can the proper human diet really improve EGFR with chronic kidney disease of stage 3A for 12 years, creatinine 1.13, 72 years of age? Miss Vicky, we have seen it in literally thousands of people. People who have stage 1, stage 2, stage 3A, 3B, even stage 4. When they go on a proper human diet, and that could be low carb with real whole food only, or keto with real whole food only, or ketovore, or carnivore, or the lion diet. Any of those 5 options are part of the proper human diet spectrum. Now, for most people, they have to go either keto or carnivore. They have to go low carb. And after 3 months, when they get their blood rechecked and the urine rechecked, their kidney function has improved. We've seen so many people with stage 3A go back to stage 2. Many of them back to stage 1. And we see people with stage 2 CKD go back to stage 1 or back to normal kidney function all the time. It's the sugar that's damaging your kidney. It's not the meat. Meat is good for your kidneys. And I know that may fly in the face of what your doctor told you, but all you got to do is try beef, butter, bacon, and eggs for 90 days. Just try it for 90 days and then get your kidney function rechecked. And if it didn't change, there you go. You proved me wrong. If it got worse, there you go. You proved me wrong. Go back to your plant-based diet or whatever and see if it gets better. Here is Mr. Obi-Wan. Hey, Dr. Berry, big fan from Fairbanks, Alaska. Carnivore for 3 months. Back down 20 pounds so far. Mostly beef, butter, bacon, and eggs with some sausage. Got to have a little sausage. Come on. However, about 2 weeks ago, I started to develop reflux, GERD-like symptoms. Going to try some apple cider vinegar in my water. And sometimes you can have a temporary flare-up of gastritis or esophagitis. It's just a little temporary flare-up. Doesn't mean you have a lifelong condition. If any of you guys have reflux, heartburn, GERD, whether you're on a proper human diet or not, let me tell you a secret. This is free. And like 80% of the time, it'll make your heartburn so much better that you'll stop even taking medicine for it. Elevate the entire head of your bed 2 to 4 inches. So get 2 bricks and put 1 brick under each head post of your bed. So you raise the entire frame of the bed up 2 to 4 inches at the head. They sell risers on Amazon for 20 or 30 bucks, but just go find 2 free red bricks, put 1 under each head post. There's actually lots of evidence, and doctors from even 1,000 years ago, Galen and Hippocrates, said you should always sleep with the head of your bed elevated just a little bit. That doesn't mean sleep on an extra pillow. That's not the same thing. But yeah, elevate the head of your bed and continue carnivore, and I think you'll find this goes away and stays away. Wendy, I had gastric bypass many years ago. I ate 2 meals a day. I'm afraid I'm under eating. I eat until I'm full. And so gastric bypass surgery, Roux-en-Y surgery, permanently changes your gastrointestinal system. And so this is a special case, right? The average person, if you eat 1 or 2 meals a day, you're going to be able to eat all the nutrition you need. But Wendy has a much smaller gastric pouch. And so she may have to eat 3 meals a day to get enough protein and get enough vitamins and minerals. I don't know, Wendy. If you'll download Chronometer or Carb Manager and just track for a week or 2, that's all you have to do. And put everything you eat and drink in there, and it'll tell you you're getting this many grams of protein. It'll tell you the vitamins and minerals, and then you can make a decision. Maybe I need to add a 3rd meal a day, or maybe you're doing fine with 2 meals a day. If you've still got plenty of extra stored fat to burn, then it's probably fine that you're eating 2 meals a day. And then when you get closer to your ideal body weight, you may want to add a 3rd, or you might not. Matus Hi, can I run on carnivore diet in higher zones? Can I adapt to run fast on fats? Yes. For high intensity athletes, it takes anywhere from 3 weeks to 3 months to get completely keto adapted. And then also if you're running at sea level and you go up to 10, 20,000 feet altitude, it's going to take a few weeks for you to get adapted to the higher altitudes. You're going to make more red blood cells and change your lung capacity and other things so that you can run at those higher altitudes. But absolutely, there's nothing that you can do on a plant-based diet that you can't do just as well, if not better, on a carnivore diet. Everybody check right now and make sure that you're subscribed or you're following me wherever you're watching this. I'm live right now on Rumble, on X, on Facebook, and on YouTube. Check and make sure that you're following or subscribed, because sometimes you think you are and you aren't. And while you're there, hit that thumbs up or the heart button as well, please. Thank you for that. Now here's Jennifer. Why did magnesium citrate, overly sweet, and sucralose drop my blood sugar from 84 to 52 in 20 minutes? That didn't do that. I'm not saying that didn't happen to you, but it wasn't the magnesium citrate with sucralose. That's making you hypoglycemic is not something that does. Something else happened to you, Jennifer. If that happens again, you need to go see your doctor and figure out what's causing that. Vicky, is Synthroid really bad? Now, I've never said that Synthroid is bad. I have been on it 40 years. I tried Armor and my heart pounds on the 30 milligram dose. So Synthroid is not as good as Armor or Nature or WP or NP or in Canada, IRFA for most people. But if you're doing fine on the Synthroid, Vicky, and you're like, yeah, I have no complaints, no thyroid symptoms, my weight is ideal, then good, stay on the Synthroid. But so many people who have been taking Synthroid, which means synthetic T4, it's not even the real T4 molecule, it's a patented molecule that's approximates T4, but it's not exactly the same as T4. And for some people, it doesn't fit in the receptor as well as real T4. That's why Armor and Nature work so much better. And also Armor and Nature thyroid contain T3, real T3, whereas Synthroid is only fake T4. So I've never said it's bad, but just for many people, it's just not as good as Armor or Nature. Thank you, Miss Susan. Jasper, there's a trend going crazy over social media, the raw primal diet. What are your thoughts on this, and how do you like your steak cooked? I like my steaks anywhere from rare to medium rare, depending on the steak. I like my lamb rare to medium rare, depending on the cut of lamb. So actually, raw diets have been extensively studied. And it has been shown again and again and again. Now, if you want to really lose weight, go on a raw carnivore diet. You'll lose weight even faster than on a cooked meat and egg diet. But you're not going to get as much nutrition. There's a reason that human beings started cooking their food 1 million years ago, give or take. We're not sure on the date yet, but about 1 million years ago is when humans started cooking. The reason we did that is because you actually are able to get more nutrition out of your food, especially plants and tubers like potatoes and radishes and rutabagas. If you eat those raw, you're going to get very little nutrition. But if you cook them, they're easier to digest. They're not as inflammatory, and you can get a little bit more of the vitamins and minerals that are in them. But this is true, not as much for meat and eggs, but it is true to some extent that cooking it at least a little bit, you're gonna unlock more of the vitamins and minerals. And so yeah, if you don't mind raw, if you go raw carnivore, honey, you're gonna lose weight fast because you're not going to get access to all the nutrients that you would if you cooked it even just a little bit. Marnie Mack. Hey, Marnie. Dr. B, I've created hundreds of active memories with my grandbabies. I owe you and Nisha for every one of them. Thank you. Miss Marnie, this makes me want to tune up a little bit. This is why we do what we do every day, is because Nisha and I want to be able to play with our grandbabies and our great grandbabies. How many of you haven't even considered that? You're like, I just lay on the couch and, eat whatever and watch TV. And you got kids running around making grandkids. You understand those grandkids need you. They need you to be healthy and active and not demented and not dead. Grandparents play such a vital role in raising children. At least they should. These days, a lot of grandparents seem like they're not interested in the grandkids, and a lot of parents seem like they don't really care if the grandparents are involved or not. But I 100% love it that Beckett and Bonnie, our 5-year-old son Beckett and 2-year-old daughter Bonnie, they get to hang out with Granny Berry, their great grandmother, and they get to hang out with Andrea Kay and Pedro, their grandmother and grandfather on Nisha's side. They get to go to San Antonio and see their great grandparents, Nisha's grandparents. I think that experience is, I think it's worth its weight in gold for the kids. Of course, the grandparents like to see the grandkids, yes. And so you get to enjoy what Marnie Mack enjoys with her grandbabies. But what I think a lot of people in their 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, they don't, either they don't know it or they don't believe it, is that the grandbabies are getting benefit from being around Grandma Marnie. They're learning lessons. They're learning nursery rhymes. They're learning mythology. They're learning all the old ways from their grandmother and grandfather that they might not be taught otherwise. And I think we've lost that in modern society, and it's really sad. Grandparents are absolutely worth their weight in gold for the grandbabies. And I think a lot of people think, well, we'll take the kids to see grandma. She'll love it. Not even considering, I wonder if it would be good for the grandkids to go see grandma. Right. And so now that I've said that, now let me talk to all you grandmas and grandpas out there, and great grandpas and great grandmas and aunts and uncles. You are important to those little kids, not just that they enjoy seeing you. You say things a little different than their parents do. You say different things than their parents do. Maybe the parents don't like that. Maybe they do. You teach different lessons. The lesson hits different when it comes from you. So if you're like, I don't think they want to see me, that I'm just a hindrance. I'm just blah, 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 excuse after excuse. No, shut up. Your grandbabies need you in their life. They need to see you. They need to hang out with you. They need to kick the soccer ball in the backyard with you. But if you're currently too fat and sick and inflamed to go out in the backyard with them, then maybe you should try eating a proper human diet for at least 90 days. Marnie is not the only one. Marnie Mack is one of tens of thousands of grandparents who can now go places with their grandkids, go out in the backyard and play with their grandkids, go to the park with their grandkids. That gives your grandkids a leg up. It gives them a head start on the other kids to have access to their grandparents who are not in bed or on the couch or in the nursing home. So it is not too late for you. You can improve your health. And you might be saying right now, well, what the hell is a proper human diet? What does that even mean? So down in the show notes on YouTube and Facebook and on Rumble, there's a link to the Proper Human Diet Guidebook. And you can click that link and I will email you a free copy of the Proper Human Diet Guidebook. It's about 40 pages and it explains in detail what is and what ain't included on a proper human diet. Now, I think there's a little $5 upsell that you can get where I basically, it's a 20-minute video of me telling you about what's in the Proper Human Guidebook, but you don't have to get that part. You can deny that and just get your free PDF of the Proper Human Guidebook. And then another thing you can do is print out 5, 10, 15, 20 copies of that and give it to your friends and neighbors who need to be playing with their grandkids as well. Hope that helps, Marty. And thank you so much for that comment, Marty Mack. It means the world. That's why we do this. Boris, heal my distal biceps tendon rupture post-surgery. Full range of motion after 6 weeks. Back to 70% power training after 11 weeks. Thanks to a proper human diet. My doctors are in awe. Read the comment. I'm not making this up. This is Boris. Boris paid €6 to tell you guys this. He spent his money to tell you that his ruptured biceps tendon, which is a very slow healing injury, healed so quickly on a proper human diet that his doctors were like, what the hell? How is this healing so fast? Have you ever seen anything like this? This is crazy. Look at Boris's biceps tendon. I've never seen one heal as fast. That's the power of a proper human diet to help heal any condition, to help heal any injury, even chronic injuries that cause chronic pain. Then you're like, yeah, there's no cure for me, no help for me at all. I'm a lost cause. Don't be so sure. Don't be so quick to say that, no, this is not going to help me. I would encourage you to just try beef, butter, bacon, and eggs for 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. And I think you might find at the end of that 90 days, your pain, your limited range of motion, your disability is less severe than it was before you tried the carnivore diet. Give it a try. Be like Boris. Give it a try. Take a chance. Plow money. Have you had any patients with Meniere's show good results? Yes, many, many hundreds. My sister has it, but is reluctant to try keto or carnivore. So Meniere's disease is typically caused, probably multifactorial, but one of the main causes is chronic inappropriate inflammation in the labyrinth and in the inner ear. And most of the time, at least part of that chronic inappropriate inflammation is caused by the inflammatory food that somebody's eating. So just tell her, why are you reluctant to try keto? Keto's just meat and veg. Like literally, it's the meal your grandmother would have cooked for you when you went over as a kid to grandma's house. Meat and veg, meat and 3, meat and 2. That's what carnivore. Carnivore is not some weird fad diet. It's just meat and veg, plus a few nuts, plus a few blueberries or raspberries. That's what keto is. Keto's not some weird thing. So funny when people, I don't know about that keto. What the hell do you think keto is? I'm not advocating any of you guys to eat the keto bread or the keto cookies or the keto shakes. All that's just people trying to make money. Real keto is meat, eggs, seafood, and the seafood's not breaded and it's not fried in vegetable seed oil, and low-carb veg, and a few nuts and a few berries. That's what keto is. It's nothing weird or strange or, I need to be reluctant. No. Fact sakes, 47-year-old male, full carnivore for 6 weeks, osteoporosis. I'm glad you're doing carnivore. Thoughts on taking boron? If you're deficient in boron, then taking a boron supplement will absolutely help you. Vitamin D, yes, take that. Magnesium, yes, take that. I'm getting 1,200 milligrams a day of calcium from cheese and sardines. I love it that you're getting the calcium from food and not from a calcium supplement. For those of you who don't know, sardines with the bone in, excellent source of calcium. Okay. Osteoporosis and osteopenia respond so well to a meat-heavy diet. Your bones are 50% protein. Most people think, oh, my bones are just calcium. So if I have osteoporosis or osteopenia, I just need calcium. No. Your bones are 50% protein, connective tissue. And then your body puts minerals, calcium's one of them, but there are others, including boron, into the matrix of the protein. The protein that you eat and the exercise that you do determines your bone density, your bone strength. Okay. And Fakes can start right now, has osteoporosis, but if Fakes keeps eating lots of meat and eggs and fish and starts lifting heavier things, chronic, each month lifting a little heavier, starts doing some jogging or some sprinting, within 12 months time, his osteoporosis will just be osteopenia. It'll be pre-osteoporosis. And then after another year, he'll have normal bone strength. I've seen this happen too many times. I can tell you that is what is going to happen. Now, it might take 3 years to reverse it completely because bones are very slow to grow. But it's going to reverse. It's going to get better. Your bone density scan is going to get better and better. Transcender, thank you very much. JL, hey, Dr. Berry, is soluble or insoluble fiber healthier? Neither one are necessary. You don't need either one in your diet. I seem to do well on shirataki rice, nearly 100% soluble fiber with meat, fish, and cheese. And if you're young and metabolically healthy, eating white rice is probably not going to be inflammatory, but I don't know about shirataki. I'm afraid that's going to be inflammatory in some people. And again, let me repeat, you do not need to eat any fiber, either soluble or insoluble. Caleb, hi, this is my first time on your live stream. Caleb, welcome. Welcome, my friend. Thank you for the super chat. Dana Sue, Dr. Berry, I started carnivore yesterday, hoping to help my fibrocystic disease of my breast. Plus, I have nodules in my thyroid. One may have to have it. So I love it that you're doing carnivore, Dana Sue, but listen carefully, Dana Sue. You need to supplement with iodine. You need Lugol's 2% iodine, and you need to take 2 drops or 3 drops of Lugol's 2% iodine every single day. It will make your fibrocystic breast disease go away, and it will make the nodules in your thyroid shrink. Okay. And I want you to do some reading about iodine supplementation. You're going to be very happy you were on this live today. Andrew, what is the best way to prevent bad breath on carnivore? Carnivore doesn't cause bad breath. And most people's breath gets much less offensive on a carnivore diet because you've eliminated all the sugar that makes the odor causing bacteria in your mouth grow. So if you're still having bad breath as a carnivore, you probably need to go see your dentist. You may have an infection or a bad tooth that needs to be looked at. Without exception, what we hear from people is that carnivore diet, their breath has less odor, is less noxious, their body odor is less offensive, and also they have much less stinky gas coming out of the back end. Hi.
How long are you doing it now?
I'm wrapping up here in a few minutes. You need me out in the garden? Thank you, Tanya, very much. Nicole, does MCT oil or colostrum add any benefit to the carnivore diet? Nicole, if you're a little baby, then you need some colostrum. But if you're a grown adult, colostrum is not going to think about it. If colostrum were some kind of secret nutritional weapon, there would be some weasel, some opossum, some skunk, some kind of little mammal that would have figured out a way to sneak into the wildebeest herd and suck the colostrum out of the teat of a wildebeest that had just had a newborn baby. And there is no such thing. That does not happen in the wild. I know colostrum is very, very popular right now. And the reason it's very popular right now is people are advertising the hell out of it because they're making a shit ton of money selling colostrum to adults who don't need it. So many supplements like colostrum. It's just foolishness if you just think it through. What other animal drinks newborn breast milk? None. As an adult, none. They would have found a way because colostrum and breast milk are very rich in nutrition. So why has no little mammal ever evolved to sneak into the buffalo herd and get the milk? Because it's not for adult mammals. It's for baby mammals. Now, I have nothing against MCT oil. And also, let me say this. I don't think colostrum is going to hurt you. I just think it's a waste of your money. It's not going to help you in any meaningful way. MCT oil is not bad for you, but I think it's unnecessary because you're going to get all the fatty acids you need from butter and from bacon grease and from beef tallow. But if you want to use some MCT oil or coconut oil or real olive oil or real avocado oil, I think those are fine for humans. We've been eating those for thousands of years. We've only been eating canola oil and soybean oil for a few decades. We have not had time to evolve to make those a health food. I don't think they're a health food for humans. Hope that helps. Thank you, Dr. Media USA. Repent and believe again. Do sweeteners like allulose and xylitol, for example, cause gut issues and stall weight loss? For some people, I think they do. And then also for some people, I think they stimulate their appetite, make them hungry before they're actually truly hungry. Should I stop drinking sugar-free energy drinks? Yes, you should. You should. And you should wean that down slowly. Now, the only energy drink I recommend, and there's one I recommend, I'm going to tell you what it is in a minute, but all of the sweetened energy drinks, even the sugar-free energy drinks like sugar-free Red Bull, Monster, they're full of junk. They're made in a chemical factory. Why would anybody think that that's good for you? Can anybody guess the one energy drink that I recommend? There's actually two. There's actually two energy drinks I recommend. Can anybody guess the brand? Tell me in the comments. I want to see if you guys can guess it. It's not really a trick, but it's sort of a trick. It's unsweetened tea, because it has a little caffeine, gives you a little pick-me-up. That's energy. And it's black coffee. Has caffeine, gives you a little energy boost. Yeah. Those are the two energy drinks that I think are proper human diet approved. DR Media USA says, I currently have about 100 pounds of excess weight. I'm considering doing carnivore. Good. Please, please do it. And rolling 48-hour fasts until I've lost about 90% of that. Is that something you would advise against? No, I think that's a great plan. What I would say, DR Media, is you don't just go carnivore. Strict carnivore. Eat as much as you want, as often as you want, of beef, butter, bacon, and eggs, plus or minus seafood. There's no reason to do the rolling 48-hour fast initially. Now, which as weeks and months go by on carnivore, if you have a weight loss stall, because you're going to start losing weight immediately if you're 100 pounds overweight on carnivore. But after a month or two or three or four, if your weight loss slows down, you're like, I want it to go faster, then you can add in the fasting. You can do a 1-day fast every 5 days, or a 2-day fast once a week, 3-day fast every other week, or you can do rolling 48-hour fasts if you want to. But there's no reason to do that initially, but it's safe if you want to do it. But I don't think it's necessary. Does that make sense? Thank you, Tara. Susie, Dr. Berry, my son that has hormonal issues, can my son that has hormonal issues do carnivore? Absolutely, yes. And it's probably going to help the hormonal issues significantly. William, I'm a 300-pound man currently. Most of the info about weight loss out there seems geared toward people who are not morbidly obese. What are your suggestions? Yes. Anybody listening right now who's morbidly obese or severely obese, like your BMI is above 30 or 35, or you know somebody and love somebody whose BMI is above 30 to 35, like your son or daughter, please do 90 days of beef, butter, bacon, and eggs. You may be like, and here's the thing about beef, butter, bacon, and eggs. You get to eat as often as you want with no snacking in between meals. You can eat once a day, twice a day, 3 times a day, but you're going to eat discrete meals with no snacking in between. At each meal, you're going to eat until you're comfortably stuffed. You're not going to eat just a small portion of this and a few calories of that and an ounce of this. You're going to eat meat and eggs until you're like, oh my God, that's it. I can't eat another bite. Yes, and you will lose weight. I promise you, William. You're like, no, dude, you don't understand. Yes, I do. I understand human physiology very, very well. You will lose a shit ton of weight doing that. And for most men, if they'll eat 2 meals a day and eat until they're comfortably stuffed, and then no snacking in between meals at all, drink water or black coffee or unsweet tea, and go outside and play, you will lose so much weight that I hope you still have your old clothes in the back of the closet, because you're going to either need them or you're going to have to go buy new clothes. And that goes for anybody out there listening to this. If your BMI is over 35, or your brother's BMI is over 35, like they've got over 100 pounds they need to lose, beef, butter, bacon, and eggs. 1 meal a day, 2 meals a day, 3 meals a day. Eat until you're comfortably stuffed. And when you tell most people that, they're like, wait, you mean I don't have to just eat a little bird portion? Right. If you want to eat 2 ribeyes and 6 eggs at your meal, do it. Okay, because the fat and the protein are going to reconnect your satiety hormones and your hunger hormones so they actually start working right again. Because virtually everybody who's 300 pounds or more, your satiety hormone, hunger hormone connections between your brain and gut are all mucked up. And they're mucked up from all the crap that Kellogg's and General Mills and Mondelez and Kraft Heinz and all the big food companies, they have mucked up your satiety signals and your hunger signals. You don't know when you're truly hungry, and you don't know when you're truly full. But when you're eating beef, butter, bacon, and eggs, you will get the signal of satiety that tells you that's enough, you're done. And then you'll get truly hungry, and you'll know it's time to eat. It's really magical. It feels magical, but it's not magic. It's physiology. All right, guys, that's it for today. Thanks so much for hanging out with me. Thank you so much for the super chats. I'm going to be live inside of our private group at 5 p.m. Central doing the same thing, but instead of 4,000 people asking questions, we're only going to have about 200. So if you did not get your question answered, there's a link in the show notes down below. Join our private PhD family, our PhD community, and you can be on the live at 5 p.m. Central coming up in 60 minutes. I'll see you then. Take it easy.